On this episode, we're going to be looking at conspiracies and why Christians should really be careful with what we say. Hello and welcome to Dirty Christianity, the show where we investigate, explore, challenge, and get down and dirty with Christianity. My name is Alex, and this is part 2 of our 2-part series on the importance of truth and why we as Christians should really care about what we say. In the first part, we looked at the difference between misinformation and disinformation, one being simply inaccurate information and the other being deliberately inaccurate information. We also looked at some tips for how we can better inform ourselves about the truth and even how we can double check whether or not what we are saying is true. Wow, we covered a lot actually. In the second part, we're going to be looking at conspiracy theories and how they both tarnish our witness and can even put ourselves or others in danger. But when He, the Spirit of truth, comes, He will guide you into all the truth. Merriam-Webster defines conspiracy theory as a theory that explains an event or a set of circumstances as the result of a secret plot by usually powerful conspirators. Basically, it's an alternative explanation for events where things are deliberately caused by bad people instead of the official explanation of accidents, incompetence, etc. But there are also unofficial definitions for conspiracies that are starting to be used, and it's really important that we understand what each side thinks of it and where each side is coming from. From the more liberal side, conspiracy theories stand for someone who says, in the words popularized by Adam Savage from Mythbusters,
"I reject your reality and substitute my own.
I reject your facts, expert opinions, sources, and concept of truth, and I replace them with my feelings and webs of lies." Now, Adam Savage was just having fun, and if you ever watch this, Adam, I'm so sorry to use you as an example, but it was just too perfect. But the idea that conservatives are just rejecting reality and substituting it with a fake one is precisely what liberals think when they call many conservative ideas conspiracy theories. Here are the facts, and you are ignoring them to create your own fake version of events. Conservatives, on the other hand, are starting to wear the term conspiracy theorist as a badge of honor in many cases. I've seen so many people online comment that when they are called conspiracy theorists, that they take that to mean that they're on the right track. They are pursuing truth, and liberals are too brainwashed or close-minded to see the bigger picture. The facts, as the liberals call them, are designed to mislead people into accepting the official story without bothering to look any deeper and find the true reality hidden within. From their perspective, they are the ones actively seeking the truth. Now, we do have to be careful here because we are speaking in generalities, and not everyone falls neatly into either camp. But I hope that my representation of the general mindset of each is accurate. Both sides see themselves as the truth speakers, and the other side is brainwashed and manipulated. And to an extent, they are both right and wrong. There are absolutely nefarious actors in this world who are working to create and exploit situations to bring themselves more power and wealth. And they do hide behind partial truths and incomplete facts to disguise their actions. But facts and objective reality does still exist. Sometimes coincidences truly are just that, and finding the middle ground between these two positions is where Christians should work very hard to plant themselves. As one of my favorite Bible verses says, you should have practiced one without neglecting the other. There are genuine conspiracies in this world. Epstein didn't kill himself after all, and genuinely bad people working very hard to mess things up for the rest of us. But the biggest and most popular conspiracies being believed and shared by Christians right now are not them. A great many of the conspiracy theories that are prevalent right now are based on lies and a total distortion of reality. And Christians embracing and pushing these lies are driving millions of people away from the church, many forever. Because these conspiracies are not connecting dots that other people just can't see. They're not proving the official story to be full of lies and falsehoods, and they're not providing a legitimate alternative explanation for events. They are built around creating a fear of the other and developing an us versus them mentality. And they are not a legitimate side that just disagrees with us. They are an enemy that we have to hate and oppose because they are trying to control or harm us. However, they is defined. And that's not a Christian mindset. 1 Thessalonians 3:12 says, "May the Lord make your love increase and overflow for each other and for everybody else, just as ours does for you." And we all know that love casts out fear. Most conspiracies that are being pushed right now require you to reject objective facts, dismiss the experts who have spent lifetimes in their fields, and believe people who have a huge incentive for you to not listen to the official story. Romans 16:18 says, "For such people are not serving our Lord Christ, but their own appetites. By smooth talk and flattery, they deceive the minds of naive people." Seeking truth is good, and we should not be too quick to trust institutions who have power and authority over us. But rejecting arguments and facts because we don't like the source or don't understand what is being said isn't truth. Conspiracy theories rely on you not fully understanding specific situations and then filling in the gaps in your knowledge with fake ideas and speculation. And then, if anyone challenges those ideas, denouncing them as brainwashed. And this is a really important point because this is where the power of conspiracies truly comes from. We don't know everything. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. So when stuff happens that is outside of our areas of knowledge, it's really easy for someone to come in with a story that seems to make sense and it fills in the gaps. Conspiracies thrive on ignorance, which is why it's really important for people who push conspiracies to delegitimize the establishment, however that is loosely defined, so you don't trust any information except what the conspiracy theorist says is acceptable. The ironic and unfortunate reality, however, is that hidden within many conspiracies are absolutely pieces of truth. And in both rejecting and embracing them, we often miss out on the kernels of truth that could genuinely lead us to a better society. Sometimes there are inaccuracy or holes in the official story. Sometimes things don't quite add up, or there are different ways of interpreting the facts. And pointing out these gaps in the story can be a healthy, accountable kind of criticism. But when we start inventing ideas to fill in these gaps without any basis in evidence or facts, that's when we cross from healthy skepticism into genuine conspiracy. One leads to paranoia, and the other to positive change and discovery. And that is truly what Jesus is all about, right? Positive change in us, away from sin and towards God. And who has the most incentive to pollute and taint our pursuit of truth? There's a reason that Ephesians 6 talks about being armored in truth for our struggle against the forces of darkness. So we must be on guard that our pursuit of truth does not become blinded by deception. Because the more Christians embrace conspiracies, misinformation, and falsehood, the more our enemy, the more our true enemy is cackling on his way to the bank. And as I've said before, I'm not asking you to blindly believe what those in charge are telling you every time. Challenge them. Challenge everything. Challenge what the other side says. Challenge what your own side says. but especially challenge the conspiracy theories that don't back up their claims with evidence. Because you might find with just a smidgen of research that there's a very good reason most people don't believe in it. And it's important to note that sometimes there are legitimate alternative explanations for things. If one story doesn't quite add up, it could be that they missed something. There is more than one explanation for a lot that happens in the world. But it's important that we take a comprehensive and complete look at things. Alternative ideas need to be based on cold, hard evidence, not feelings and speculation. And if all the experts are saying one thing, there's probably a really good reason for it. Take a look at the Titan submarine disaster. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. There is an established science on deep sea pressure and how to withstand it. A millionaire decided he didn't believe in what all the experts were saying. He didn't believe when they said he was putting people at risk. He didn't believe when they said his submarine wasn't safe. They are just stifling innovation, he claimed. He thought he knew better, and he did not. Turns out there was a really good reason for why the experts were saying what they did. And his alternative explanation of things didn't have enough facts to back it up. And ultimately, pressure doesn't care what you believe about it. Pressure is gonna press. And it pressed hard enough to crush the sub and tragically kill all 5 occupants within it. Some people, though, don't believe this official story. Now look, if you want to believe in conspiracy theories, then go for it. Like I said earlier, Epstein didn't kill himself, but be careful that what you say in person and online isn't polluted by unfounded claims and rumors. I grew up on VeggieTales, and there was a whole episode on the evil rumor weed and the importance of truth. And that ultimately is what conspiracies are. Unless they have actual facts to back them up, they're just gossips and rumors. I had a student in one of my classes tell me that he heard about this guy in Nepal who he said found the cure for all diseases, even cancer, magical cure-all, and the government killed him to keep the cure under their control. Then he said this completely seriously. It's easy to spread stuff that sounds like it might be real or feeds into our preconceived notions, but if we don't actually have any evidence for it, we're just growing a rumor weed. If VeggieTales can get it right, why can't we? So here's where we end up. Why does all of this matter? It matters because we are polluting our witness with non-believers. And as I said in the last episode, if we keep spreading false information about real stuff, why should people believe that we're telling the truth about spiritual stuff? It's the same concept as 1 John 4:20. Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they haven't seen. If we can't get the facts right about stuff that's in this world, why should they believe us about stuff that's not of this world? And it matters because conspiracies get people killed or send them to jail. How many people are in prison because they believed a conspiracy about the 2020 election? How many people died because they believed conspiracies about COVID-19? 5 people died on the Titan submarine because the owner didn't believe the experts. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." Conspiracies don't build others up. They create divides in us that stoke fear and distrust for each other. Truth sets us free. Love sets us free. And finally, it matters because Jesus is the truth. If we keep getting the truth wrong, then we are getting Jesus wrong. If we're spreading lies, then we are not aligning ourselves with Jesus. And if we cheapen the truth, then we are diminishing the value of Jesus himself in the eyes of those around us. So be careful about what you say. And if you want to post something, then make sure you put a little effort into double checking that what you're saying is honest and trustworthy. None of us are perfect, but what we say and believe matters. So please join me as we all try to do better, because the truth is too special to cheapen with lies and misinformation. Thanks for watching.